y'all. It's TJ. Welcome to the replay crew. It will be right now because we are waiting to see if anyone comes into the live stream to watch with us today. We are going to cover at least 2, maybe 3 cold cases in the in the US of A. That I have made a video on before and covered. We'll be doing that live, watching it together perhaps. So if you know anyone, Sia Taylor, as you can see on screen, went missing from Florida. So if you know anyone over there, perhaps let them know that there is a case that maybe they can help with. So hello, coffee, chats and walks. You fell asleep listening to me the other night. I didn't think that my voice was that sleepy, but cool. Okay, welcome back. It's good to have you back. We've got a couple of USA stories, and I'm going to try and do a few more. Hi, Will. Good to see you. Definitely want to get into more overseas cases or international cases now as well. So I will be doing that. You just relaxing, coffee? Awesome. Well, hopefully I don't put you to sleep tonight. But then you can always watch the replay. So, you know, it's all good. I don't mind. Okay, so we might get into this. I just found out that I might lose my job due to my mental illness that's popped up lately. So that gives me a couple of choices to think about. Either obviously I get better shortly and as I am, and I look for a new job, or I got to make this shit work really, and make it so that at least I just have a little bit of pocket money to play with. I don't need a lot of money or anything. So yeah, got that to think about for sure. Coffee, chats and walks says, I meant listening to you was relaxing. I knew what you meant, don't worry. Hey, Slow Motion, good to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So let's start looking at this video here. Bear in mind, it's when I first started, so I look like a dick, and I probably sound like that. To anyone that's new, I curse occasionally, and also I vape live. So if you don't like that, you well better move on. Right, let's have a look at this.
Hello, everybody. It's TJ from New Zealand.
I hate listening to my own voice.
Thank you so much for being here. We are looking into a case about a young lady called Sia Taylor, and it's part of our Stories from Around the World series. And it happened in Florida, USA. Quickly, before we get into this young girl, my computer is not working as it should. I can't run OBS. I spilled, a vape liquid bottle actually exploded, went all through my computer, all over myself. And the company that makes the product, I cannot get hold of for days and days. I've emailed and tried to contact them, and they're just ignoring me. So
sorry, guys, that was my daughter
going along with the computer that's not working properly. And then I just realised before that I had recorded a whole episode without plugging in my microphone. So if you've had one of those days, I can sympathise with you about it because I'm having one of those. But this is important, this story. So we're going to look into what happened to Sia Taylor. So I went to NamUs first, and she is actually on there, which is fantastic. And it was put on there about a month after she went missing. So let's take a look. Date of last contact, February 6, 2020. So nearly a year ago from Plant City, Florida. She was 28 years old.
So not that long ago.
She would be 29. She is a female, a white Caucasian, height 5.6 or 5'6", I should say, 170 pounds. And she obviously is a white Caucasian again. So Plant City, Florida is in Hillsborough County. Circumstances: on February the 6th, 2020 at approximately 4 p.m., Sia Taylor left a residence on Cowit Road in Plant City after dropping her boyfriend off. Sia's car was later found approximately 7 p.m., abandoned at East Trapnell Road, just west of Jap Tucker Road in Plant City. Her car was found unlocked and running on railway tracks. So this already sounds like something very odd. For the physical description, she is red or auburn here, it says, but then it says reddish brown, curly past her shoulder. She's got brown eyes. Now, she's got a number of tattoos. She's got an infinity sign on her upper chest, a sun on her upper thigh, 2 X's on her upper shoulder, a ladybug on her lower leg, and a rose on her inner lower arm. And we can see here there's a couple of pictures with her tattoos. No additional case info for transportation or clothing and accessories. If we take a quick look at this pic, you can see the affinity sign there. She's got very short hair here. In this one, you can see the rose on her left forearm. Here is a copy of the missing persons poster that they have been handing out. It's got a few photos and the information for who you call for the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Department, but I'm going to put that in the description box below. Well, if you're on podcast, I'm going to put it obviously in the podcast episode description. So we want to get a better understanding of the story. I'm going to nbcnews.com /Dateline, and this article was done on April the 21st, 2020, so last year. By
what is really good about covering international cases and ones in the US, for example, excuse me, there's always a lot, well, not always, mostly there's a lot of information within 3 to 4 to 5 different news outlets, where in New Zealand we only have a couple, which makes it really difficult. But covering cases from the US and other places around the world is usually a little bit easier.
Andrea Cavalier. Nearly 3 months have passed since anyone has seen or heard from 28-year-old Florida resident Sia Taylor, and her family is desperate for answers. I'm worried about her every single day, Sia's mother, Kenetha Taylor, told Dateline. We just want to know where she is. We want to know if she's okay. And in this picture, you can see quite clearly her tattoo there. Kenetha told Dateline that Sia previously lived with her in Dade City, Florida, but had been recently staying with her boyfriend about 45 minutes away in Plant City, Florida. So let's go take a look about Plant City. Plant City, Florida, on Wikipedia says Plant City is an incorporated city in Hillsborough County, Florida, United States, approximately midway between Brandon and Lakeland along Interstate 4. The population was 34,721 at the 2010 census. Despite many thinking it was named for flora grown at plant nurseries, especially vegetables and fruits, as well as houseplants, in its tropical Gulf Coast climate, it was named after prominent railroad developer Henry B. Plant. Plant City is known as the winter strawberry capital of the world, and hosts the annual Florida Strawberry Festival in the late winter, which, if you are over there, is usually in February or early March. But of course, over here in New Zealand, we're completely the opposite, which is attended by people from all over the United States, as well as many people from around the world. And we're, at a side note, this is when she went missing, was obviously during the time when the Strawberry Festival would be held. If we take a look at Plant City on Google Maps, here it is here, and you can see, look, it goes out, there's buildings out either side for miles and miles and miles, and if we go in and look at where her car was found and where she was staying with her boyfriend, it's not actually that far out of the city. Even though if you look around it, it looks quite rural. But I mean, this is a mobile home park, which looks huge. So the boyfriend and her were staying at Cowart Road, which is down here. Now, from what I can gather, this is the railway tracks. So the car must have been found here up on East Trapnell Road. Whichever way she went, actually, it was going to take about 4 minutes to get here. So just, as soon as she left, basically. Very, very unusual. Let's get back to the article here. According to Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office press release, it was around 4 p.m. on February the 6th, 2020, when Sia dropped her boyfriend off at his home on Cowart Road in Plant City, Florida, just a few blocks from a call center where she worked. A few hours later, around 7 p.m., Sia's black 2000 Toyota Solaris was found abandoned about a mile away on railroad tracks at East Trapnell Road. The engine was still running. Her belongings, including her cell phone, debit card, were still in the car.
Very worrying.
So immediately worrying that A, the car is running. That's not odd enough on railroad tracks. And then her cell phone and debit card are left in the car. Sia's sister-in-law, Portia Taylor, who travelled from Iowa to help with the search, told Dateline it was unlike Sia to leave her phone behind. She said, if you know Sia, you know she was never without her phone, Portia said. She was always in contact with someone, which...
it's very true. In 2020 and for many years, people have been absolutely attached to their phones. They become like their lifelines and their lives because everything is on there. So the fact that a young woman like herself did not take her cell phone, I think is very telling as well.
Just really worried about her, and I can understand why. Sia was reported missing.
Morning,
and an investigation was launched by the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. Sia was reported missing and an investigation was launched by the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. According to NBC affiliate WFLA, deputies have questioned Sia's boyfriend, who was allegedly the last person to see her, but they have no leads at this time. Now, this photo here, her hair looks very dark brown, whether that's current or maybe she changes her hair from sort of reddish to brownish. Sia's family told Dateline that about 3 weeks after Sia went missing, her shoes were discovered on a drainage pipe along the road near the railroad tracks where her car had been found. A flyer announcing her disappearance hung on a post next to the shoes. Very, very odd. Kanisa told Dateline, I feel like they were placed there. We searched in that area for weeks and never found anything. Those shoes were ones I gave her and I definitely would have noticed them. Crystal Clark, the Chief Communications Clerk for Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, would not confirm further details to Dateline, but said Sia's disappearance is still an active open case and they are continuing to investigate. For weeks, family and friends searched the area around the railroad tracks, including the woods, but found no trace of Sia. So I just want to pop over to whereabouts those railroad tracks are, and they were talking about the woods. So I'm guessing these are the woods that they're talking about, but I mean, they're not going on forever. So if she went in the woods, it wouldn't be far to sort of come out on either side into houses as well to get help. So not a huge worry or huge woods. The searches have ended due to the recent spread of COVID-19. Portia and her husband, who is Sia's brother, returned to Iowa. Our world was turned upside down even before COVID, Portia said, and now we've even more worried. It's heartbreaking because we can't even go to Florida to be with our family or to help look for Sia. And I suppose being here in New Zealand, we forget, because here in New Zealand we're at the moment pretty much COVID free, and we can travel all around our country. And we forget that half the world, or most of the world, is still in lockdown. And especially February last year, that was when the beginning of COVID started to go around the world. So absolutely a horrible time to go missing. Sia's family describes her as a fun, upbeat person who doesn't let things get her down. She lights up an entire room when she walks in, Kanitha said. She's the light of our lives. We just need our girl back. Sia's family hopes someone with information will call authorities. They have also set up a Facebook page, which we'll look at in a minute, with the hope of finding answers in her case. Sia was last seen wearing a grey, white, blue and red striped dress, which possibly is the dress that we've seen in that picture, with a pink sweater over it. She is described as being approximately 5'6" and 170 pounds. She has auburn red shoulder length hair. And of course, there's information down there for the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. So I'm wondering, they probably are talking about this dress, but they're saying she probably had a pink sweater over it. So I'm going over to the Facebook page. It's called Finding Sia, and Sia is spelt Cieha, which is a different way of spelling it. And if you come along here, you're going to find heaps of information, and it looks as though the family, well, I can tell you that the family are posting very regularly.
Oops.
One of the pinned posts as we go into this page. Hello, Finding Sia followers. We wanted to touch base with you all. First off, we want to say thank you for all your prayers, likes, shares, thoughts, and support. We have quite a few new followers and wanted to touch base with you all. Sia Annette Taylor, 29-year-old female from Dade City, has been missing since Thursday, February the 6th, 2020, last seen in Plant City, Florida. The Taylor family is offering a $6,550 reward for any information that leads us to finding Sia. And it's got information about how to present tips, which I'll put in the description box below. This page was made in hopes of sharing Sia's story and pictures so someone would recognize her and come forward with information that would help us find her and bring her home. As a reminder, this page is ran by Sia's family. We see and read all your comments, so please be mindful and try not to speculate, as some things are very hurtful. At the end of the day, Sia is our loved one. Please remember to be kind. I think that's quite an important message, because the internet, Facebook, the internet in general, can have trolls and can be quite confronting and quite mean. And sometimes in these cases, well, all the time in these cases, you've got to remember that, you know, the family are going to read comments and stuff, and, you know, they're going through a tough time as it is. So speculation and making up stories and being nasty is not right at all. Carrying on, Sia was last seen in Plant City, Florida around 4 p.m. on Thursday the 6th, 2020, dropping her boyfriend off at his friend's house off Cowart and Trapnell Road. So that's a bit different, because it was saying that was where she lived. Supposedly, the last people who saw her that day were her boyfriend, his friend, and friend's father. They have been interviewed by detectives. We have not been privy to what questions or information was provided during these interviews, as the case is still an open investigation. On Thursday, February 6, 2020,
Hey, Autumn, good to see you,
Sia's car
hon.
was found running abandoned on the train tracks less than a mile from her boyfriend's friend's home. The driver's side door was open. Her phone was found on the ground next to the car on the train tracks. A Plant City police officer came on the scene. Sia's license plates were not ran by the police officer. The police officer got in her vehicle and moved the car with her belongings inside, moved it to the side of the road and locked the door. The detective will not release the name of the officer that moved the vehicle. We have been told there is an internal affairs investigation going on regarding this. Information has not been released about it. We have asked several times. We were told the train tracks where the vehicle was found located, and actual train had not ran on those tracks for over a year as they were doing maintenance on the tracks. And I wonder if I don't know, I don't want to speculate, if the person that left the car knew that it wasn't being used for over a year. I mean, were they a local, or did they put them there expecting that a train was going to come or something? During this time, from February the 6th to February the 9th, family began calling Sia's phone multiple times and reaching out to friends, trying to see who had seen her or spoke to her. Still not knowing, her vehicle was found abandoned on February the 6th. Her vehicle was not found until Sunday, February 9th, by a family friend. Okay, so that's different to the police finding it on February 9th. At the time a missing person report was filed, the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, Sia's family and Homeland Security have done searches several times in the area where the vehicle was found abandoned and around the area where the boyfriend's friend lives. Nothing has come from those searches. The police searches included canines and helicopters. 20 days after Sia's disappearance on February the 26th, her shoes were found located not too far from her car, next to a light pole that had her picture on it, attached to a missing persons flyer.
That's strange.
Family, friends, and
Weird.
police officers searched this area prior. The shoes were not there prior to this date. It's if someone placed them there. Police recovered the shoes. They were confirmed by Sia's mum that they were in fact her shoes. Very, very odd, because
Real weird.
If shoes were there earlier, they would have been found, no doubt. They say we have reached out to the FBI, who have stated they will not get involved unless the local police department, county or state police department called them directly to ask for their assistance. And of course the sheriff's office and the sheriff's office said they have not and are not planning to contact the FBI. Family says we have called and reached out to any and all missing persons groups seeking any help possible. We have tried to contact anyone we can think of that could help us get Sia's story out there and her face seen, in hopes of someone coming forward with information that will help us find our girl. And that's what we're doing. We are helping these guys because we're trying to get it out there.
That is nasty.
We have been over every scenario and every possibility we can think of in our heads and still are coming up with nothing. The only thing we believe is Sia was taken. Anyone who knows Sia knows she does not leave her phone. She takes it everywhere with her. So the simple fact that her phone was found on the ground next to her car, abandoned, makes no sense. Along with her purse, ID, debit card, and all other necessities found in her vehicle. No one disappears or vanishes. Please continue to pray for Sia and our family that we find her, and we find her soon. Please continue to share Sia's story and pictures. We pray by doing so, someone will see it, recognize her, or remember something and come forward and let us know. Please help us find her. This is a situation that no family is prepared to go through or ever expects to happen. So the family are doing everything and anything they possibly can to get her story out there, and are trying to find anyone that can help. So if you live in the US, or if you know anyone that lives in the US, in Florida, please share this as much as you can. Share it to your Facebook groups, share it to your workmates, your friends, whoever. Now, the last thing on this page I wanted to go through, and it's very, very close, coming up in February on the anniversary of her disappearance. Join us next Saturday, February the 6th, 2021, for the 1 year anniversary date of Sia's disappearance. We will be holding a remembrance gathering.
I'm going to stop that one there, guys. Yeah, really sad story, but really weird and really creepy all at the same time. So really weird that the car was on the train tracks. Really weird was the fact that her phone and her ID and everything else was still in the car. weird that the car was running. And then the shoes that were put underneath the flyer that was put there by families and volunteers, shoes turn up. That area had all been searched. It would have been searched when they put the flyer up, for goodness sake. So who is taunting the family and putting their shoes there? And, you know, everybody is innocent till proven guilty. And we're allowed to have our opinions and speculate as long as it's based on fact that she was really close to her boyfriend's house. So I don't know. What I thought we'll do, though, is we will have a look, I thought, and see if there's any updates. So I do have this. Coffee says she was definitely abducted. Yeah, it sounds like that, doesn't it? So, here it is. So I'm going to share this. Now, it's from newsnationnow.com. There's a little video. I'm not going to play any of the video because they love to strike me or anybody else. And I need YouTube to work since I'm losing my job. I don't need no strikes. But I'll put the description in the description box below. So if you want to go back to this and read it, you can. Listen. So waiting is the hardest part for Kenetha Taylor. Not knowing what happened to her daughter, Sia, who went missing in February 2020, weighs on the mind of her. But she does know one thing for sure. Sia would never leave her like this. Sia was a unique personality. She was big as life, her mum said. Smile would light up the room. She met no strangers, and I think everybody always loved to be around her. In February 2020, Sia, then 28, was hanging out with the wrong crowd, according to her mum. She was living with a boyfriend and a friend about 30 minutes from home in Plant City, Florida. On the night she went missing, Sia got into a fight with her boyfriend, the boyfriend, and a friend. And her boyfriend, and her mother said Sia was supposed to go to a friend's house. She called her friend crying and upset that night. That just breaks my heart. But she never made it to her friend's house. Days later, Sia's car, containing nearly everything she owned, was found by a friend parked along the side of the road. It wasn't parked on the side of the road. It was parked over train tracks. Everything, her clothes, her purse, her ID, her driver's license, her social security card, everything she owned. Her phone, Kenetha said. She never went anywhere without her phone. The phone was the main thing to set me to think something's wrong. Very pretty picture of her there. A missing persons report was filed with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Department, a report that led to a shocking discovery. Police officers spotted Sia's vehicles day before, running while parked on train tracks. No one was inside. Police said on a podcast in August of 2020 they conducted a thorough search of Sia's vehicle and recovered fingerprints from inside. All of the fingerprints, however, found, which included Sia's, were of people known to have been in the vehicle. Flyers were handed out, doors were knocked on, suspects, including her boyfriend, were interviewed, but police still find themselves a dead end. Sia's boyfriend was the last person to see her alive, according to her mum. Police have not ruled out him as a suspect. We just want to know what happened more so now than it happened to, or who did it, said Kenetha. It's more so let's have closure. We'll worry about that later of who done it and why. And we've talked about this before. Often it is just justice isn't always the thing that a family wants. Firstly, a family wants to find their loved one so that they can have some closure, so they can bring their baby home. You know what I mean? Coffee says they should have sent dogs into the woods to see if they picked up scent. Yeah, I never heard about dogs, but I'm glad you're on. Chitty Chitty Day. Thank you. I'm going to try and come on as much as I can because I was just saying I'm losing my job, I think. So I've got to really put 100% into this and try my damnedest hardest one last time to make it work for me, just to have a little money to fall back on each month. So I've got to try. Coffee chats and walks. Well, that changes things. Could have been a domestic violence. Was the boyfriend investigated? So they just said he was investigated in this thing, and he's not cleared as a suspect. Also, sometimes friends who take sides often act on behalf of what they think is loyalty to their friend, but it's misplaced. Absolutely. I got exactly what you mean. You always brighten my day. Oh, thanks, Pam. You're lovely. All right. So I've got another. Actually, I'll show you this actually. Present share screen. I've been looking at the latest webcams because I need a new webcam to do my videos. But they're not too bad. I mean, $25.99 is pretty cheap. But then they've got so many models, I was getting bloody lost. But and they've got lots of expensive ones, but nah. All right. Let's get on to the next case. Where did that go? Present share screen. This is a young girl, Darian Hudson, who went missing from Stillwater in Oklahoma. I better like it, since it's my video. Again, this is real early in my time doing videos and stuff, so the quality and presentation might not be the best, but I gave it a shot. So let's listen to this. It's about 20 minutes, so we'll stop a couple of times.
New Zealand, we also cover cases and stories from around the world as well, which is what we're doing today. We are looking into the disappearance of a very beautiful young lady, Darian Hudson, who's been missing from Stillwater in Oklahoma. And we want to see if some of our international viewers can help. Let's take a look. Please remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Really means a lot to the channel. Thanks so much. So I thought we'd start with Wikipedia and just have a look at Stillwater, Oklahoma. Stillwater is a city in and the county seat of Payne County, Oklahoma, United States. It is located in north central Oklahoma at the intersection of US Route 177 and State Highway 51. As of the 2010 census, the city population was 45,000, making it the 10th largest city in Oklahoma. The Stillwater Micropolitan Statistical Area had a population of 78,000 according to the 2012 census estimate, so quite a big difference there. Stillwater was part of the first Oklahoma land run held on April the 22nd, 1889, when the unassigned lands were opened for settlement and became the core of the new Oklahoma Territory. For all those Kiwis that are watching and have no idea where Oklahoma is in the United States, so here we go. We've got Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, and her mother actually lives in Kansas, which is the state next door. Let's read some information. Here we are at the Charlie Project, and a lot of photos of this beautiful young girl. And what I noticed most is her smile. It looks like one of those contagious ones, and it looks like she's always got a smile. So let's look into it. Missing since 22nd of October 2017 from Stillwater, Oklahoma. She's classified as endangered missing. She is a black female, aged 23. Height 5'3" and 120 pounds. Clothing description: a white t-shirt, blue jeans, and possibly a dark colored coat. Now, the medical conditions are a bit scary. For unspecified reasons, Hudson's loved ones believe she may have been going through a mental health crisis at the time of her disappearance. So that's a very sort of scary thing to put onto the look for her. African-American female, black hair, brown eyes. Hudson has a tattoo on the back of her right shoulder consisting of a large feather, 5 small birds, and the words "birds of a feather flock together" inscribed underneath. A photo of the tattoo is posted with this case summary. Hudson's nicknames are D and D Baby. Her ears and nose are pierced. So that, unfortunately, I can't enlarge that picture, but it's quite small, so if you wanted to have a look, you'd have to come.
So again, I did a little chat, little talking while I was muted, of course. Trigger warning for anybody that's suffering from mental health issues at the moment. If this is too much for you, please head on out and watch one of the multitude of other videos I've got down there to watch. Yeah, if you need a break, it's understood. Let's keep going.
Here and have a look. Let's keep going. So the investigating agency is Stillwater Police Department, 405-742-8357, but I will have that information in the description box below if you have some information. Hudson went missing from Stillwater 2017, October 22nd. When her parents were notified that no one could reach her, they went to Stillwater and checked her home in the 500 block of West 5th Street, which we will look at in a moment. The door was open, the light was on, and there were dishes in the sink, but there were no obvious signs of foul play. Hudson's phone, her cell phone, and other belongings were left behind at home. Her parents reported her missing on October the 28th. Now, it appears there's a few days that go by before she is reported to the police, and there's a reason for that, which we'll get into a bit later. About a month after Hudson was last seen, a man tried to use her credit card at a hotel in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and the police were alerted. They traced the man, who said he found the card in a purse he stole from a construction site in Stillwater. The St. Francis Xavier Catholic Church was being built at McElroy Road and Country Club Road, northwest of town. The man said he'd seen Hudson's purse hanging from a drainage pipe and took it. So we have this young woman who left her cell phone at her house and her purse with obviously credit cards, probably ID and money, at the construction site. Now let's have a quick look and see where this is. So at the bottom here is West 5th Ave, which I believe is where she lived. And up here is the St. Francis Xavier Catholic Church. And it says it's just over a mile in a car. It would be about 3 minutes. So it wouldn't be that long. It's quite actually close to the city itself. And if we have a closer look at the construction site or at the church, we can still tell that's a construction site. Now, I wanted to just look too at the woods that are around here that are talked about. These are woods that could be searched easily, very easily, and they are woods that you wouldn't really get lost in. I mean, they're not big enough for that. You go on one side and out the other, and there's quite a few of that around, but I don't believe any are where someone could get lost or anything like that, and very searchable, even though there's lots of woods, I guess. All right. The police visited the construction site and spoke to numerous workers there, 2 of whom said they'd seen a woman matching Hudson's description on October the 26th, 4 days after her initial disappearance. The woman was sitting on the ground in a wooded area south of the church. When the 2 workers went to check on her, she looked at them blankly. They told their boss, and a group of workers went to talk to the woman again, but again, she wouldn't speak to them. So here we have a large number of workers, construction workers, that know that place and have seen this young woman in a vulnerable state by the sounds of it. And it's good that these guys are checking on her. and know something's up. But would you kill the police if you seen a woman obviously vulnerable in a vulnerable position at a place that's odd? I don't know. Would you kill the cops or would you just leave her be? Put it in the comments below and see what you think. A local resident who lives east of the church saw the same woman later that day emerging from the woods and talking to his grandchildren. Another nearby resident saw the woman sitting on construction equipment on the evening of October the 26th, acting as if she was waiting for someone to give her a ride. There were no other sightings, but a search of the area with dogs and drones turned up.
So, guys, what would you do if you were those construction workers and you came across a young lady in obvious distress? Would you call 911? Or would you not? It's an odd place, but they may have thought she was waiting for someone, or who knows, just getting some time out or something after an argument from somebody. I'd call, definitely. I think better to be safe than sorry, right? Pam says I'd call, but I've learned that the hard way. Sorry, Pam. Coffee says people don't call cops because they don't want to get involved or get someone in trouble. I know that happens everywhere. It really does. Autumn Falls says depending on how she was acting, I'd either call 911 or at least go talk to her for sure. It did seem like, though, a few of those construction workers tried to talk to her. Maybe it was tough because they were males. Who knows? But let's keep going.
Up her sweatshirt and wallet. Okay, so obviously she was there for many, many hours. If she was there with the construction workers and then into the evening, and like I said, those woods are easily searchable, and that's confirmed by the fact that they found some of her information. And so she's got no sweatshirt. The construction workers never said
Kia ora,
backpacks
Phoebe. Thank you for
anything like
saying
that,
kia ora.
carrying anything, I should say. So if she's left her sweatshirt there, wouldn't she be very cold, for one thing? And her wallet. So what's inside that? Her ID, which is, if she's going to run away, she probably needs that stuff. Prior to her disappearance, Darian had been working as a server at Chili's restaurant on Perkins Road for about 2 years. She had recently suffered a miscarriage, broken up with her boyfriend, and lost her cherished dog. So obviously she's been through some really horrible things. On October the 21st, she told her parents she wanted to move back in with them in Wichita, Kansas, and they said she could. She did not have a vehicle at the time of her disappearance. So did she try and get to Wichita, Kansas? Did she have a plan to get there? But if you think if she had a plan, wouldn't she take her phone and her wallet with her if she was trying to maybe hitch or get to Kansas? Who knows? The circumstances of her disappearance are unclear. She previously attended Langston University, where she played softball. So take a quick look at those photos of Darian if you're in the area. Now we're at TulsaWorld.com with another article. Vanished without a trace, tip sought in case of young woman's disappearance from Stillwater. This is October 2019. Now, there were very few articles about this, and most of them just went over the same thing, But we'll do find little tidbits of information anyway. The last time anyone saw Darian Hudson, she was sitting atop construction equipment at the corner outside Stillwater, looking like she was waiting for someone to pick her up. So, did she get picked up by somebody? Whether it was, with consent, she went willingly or not. In the 2 years since then, detectives say there has been no hint of her existence, no sightings, no contact with family or friends, and no activity on her social media accounts. It's a mystery. Stillwater Police Chief Jeff Watts said it's a complete mystery. Although all explanations of the 23-year-old's disappearance remain possible, including that she vanished of her own accord, the circumstances are suspect. He says she disappeared week of October 22nd, 2017, and Stephanie Hudson, her mum, said she last contacted her family on the 21st when she said she wanted to move back home to Wichita, Kansas. 4 days later, Darian's friends were blowing up Stephanie's phone saying they couldn't find Darian. Hudson and her husband drove to Stillwater the next day and went straight to the police department. Now, this bit's going to make you angry. They couldn't file a police report because it hadn't yet been 48 hours since they knew of her disappearance.
I'm going to turn my mic on, and then I'm going to have a fit. This damn rule all over the US that you hear is they've got to be missing for 24 hours or they've got to be missing for 48 hours because they say different things. It's bollocks. You don't have to wait 24 hours. You don't have to wait 48 hours. Families know their loved ones the best, and if they think that something is wrong, they should be listened to. I just pisses me off. I don't even know where it comes from, Autumn Falls. I have no idea. But if you're in true crime and you watch a lot of it, you're going to hear this all the fucking time. And that's when I swear, I tell you. Autumn says, I don't think it's a rule anywhere. No, I don't think it's a rule anywhere either. But it still comes up. It fucking fucks me off. Let's keep going, shall we, after I've had my little vent.
So they found themselves canvassing her neighbourhood and taking in the eerie normalcy of her home. Hold up.
No.
I watch a lot of true crime about America vloggers, and it appears to me, or from what I can learn and from what I've learned, I watch a lot of true crime and I seem to know a lot about what goes on in America because that's where I usually watch vloggers from. I know that you do not have to wait 24 or 48 hours before reporting someone missing. That is not how it's supposed to work, and I don't know if they just suspected that that was the case or whether the police told them that they could not file a report for that amount of time. The problem is 48 hours, the first 48 hours are most critical to try and find clues. And if they're waiting, then it means that clues aren't easy to find. So that really pees me off. I don't know whether they just thought that or whether they had to wait, but definitely puts everyone on the back foot. She said the door was open, a light was on, and dishes were in the sink. She said, but there was no crime scene to be found. They filed a missing person report with the police department on October the 28th, and the investigation began. It began with few leads for about a month, and detectives were alerted to an attempted use of Darian's credit card at a hotel in Oklahoma City. Officers traced the attempt to a man who told them he took the card from a purse he stole from a construction site in Stillwater. At the time, St. Francis Xavier Catholic Church was under construction at McElroy Road and Country Club Road, northwest of Stillwater. The man told police that Darian's purse was hanging on a drainage pipe as he and his co-workers drove from the site, so they took it. And we've heard that her wallet was found in the woods, so that must have been different from the purse. I thought people kept wallets in their purse, and then weirdly she has a credit card or debit card in the purse, not in the wallet. I don't know. Detectives visited the site and interviewed numerous workers, two of whom remember seeing a woman matching her description on the October 26. One said she was sitting on the ground in a wooded area south of the church and that when he went to check on her, she only stared blankly. They alerted their boss and a group of them went to check on her again, but she would not engage with them. So a lot of numerous workers were looking at this young lady, vulnerable, obviously, young lady, and she was there for hours, apparently. They didn't call the cops. I don't know if people think that they should have. Put it in the comments below. A man who lives east of the church told police he saw Darian later that day talking with his grandchildren after she came out of the woods. I don't know. So was she just waiting? You know, it looks like she was hanging around for quite a few hours. She could possibly have been waiting for someone, but just leaving, if she went consensually with someone, if she was waiting for someone, you know, I don't know. She would need her cell phone to contact them, wouldn't she? But she left that behind. So if she was waiting for somebody, how did she contact them? Because police, of course, would have gone through her phone. The only other information police have is from another nearby resident who said he saw a woman matching Darian's description sitting on construction equipment at the site late in the evening, looking like she was waiting for a ride. So hours late in the evening. Didn't they think that was odd and want to know what was going on? And I don't know. After that, nothing. What said police interviewed as many workers at the construction site as they could, but reaching all of them was virtually impossible with the numerous contractors and subcontractors and poor records of who was actually there. Wow. So we know there was a lot of men, or a lot of workers, men and women, that knew there was a vulnerable young lady sitting around and hanging around that construction site. In early December 2017, after the credit card tip led them to the wooded area, police brought in dogs and drones to search for Hudson, but they found only some of her belongings. I think a sweatshirt and a wallet. She remains the department's only outstanding missing person case. Most missing person cases are eventually resolved or lead off with a witness seeing a person walking in a certain direction or getting into a car, Watts said. But in Hudson's case, it appears like she simply ceased to exist. He said, "You always want to find the person alive. At this point, we just don't know. Anything is possible. It just seems to me that if she had run away by now, something would have surfaced somehow, some way. None of this makes sense. Somebody knows something." Somebody always knows something. You hear that very often, and you think to yourself, someone knows something. It is very odd. If she wanted to hurt herself, I'm pretty sure that dogs and drones would have found her in that area very easily. So, you know, can we rule out that? How big was the search? I mean, they said that they just went to the area where after the credit card and the purse were found. Did they go further and look into other woods and stuff like that? It doesn't say. Can't find anything about it. If she was waiting for somebody, how was she getting in contact with them? And if she was going with someone consensually, you know, why would she leave all that stuff behind? You need some stuff. You need money to start a new life. Look, if you have information, I'll put the details in the description box below. If you're in US, please share to anyone that you know, your friends, and see what happens. Thanks very much for watching, but I've just got one couple of things to get you to look at. This is our website, New Zealand Mysteries website, and it's at newzealandmissing.wordpress.com. Now, it's something that I've worked on for a very, very long time. It features heaps of missing persons cases from New Zealand. It has information about child abuse statistics in New Zealand. Really, really challenging. Warning if you go to see that. Obviously, oh my God, the mic.
I had it muted again. Oh my God. Pam says one of her neighbours is creeping her out. What is he doing for that? Phoebe says, Kiwi, please put the link in chat. What link are you talking about, honey? Have I got sound now? I do it every time. It's so bad. No, it's terrible. It's terrible. Yeah, I'm not very good. I've got to get my shit together. I really do. But I'm not always the full quid, you know. I have brain farts a lot, and they happen a lot while I'm live streaming, unfortunately. But it also, yeah. The link the woman mentioned, I don't remember now. You'll have to be a bit more specific, or I'll have to go. What I'll do is I'll have to go back and look at it, Phoebe, because I'm not sure which one you meant. He acts like we're besties or something. Oh, that's got to annoy the hell out of you, Pam, when people do that. Yeah, what link was it? Sorry, that the woman mentioned. I've just got rid of the video, but I can pull it back up again. Oh, you think it was my my website. So the information of everything about the channel, ways to donate, how to get to that are all in the description box below. So check it out, Phoebe. All right, you ready for another case, my friends? This again is a missing young lady. Thank you, Autumn Falls. I appreciate that, hun. So yeah, we're going to take a look at this. Sorry about that. Look, also the website is, I haven't been able to update it in quite a while, because between working and trying to do YouTube and trying to keep up my Facebook, because I've got 10,000 followers over there, sometimes the website's the last thing that I have time for. Phoebe says, I have a traumatic brain injury and called the doctor but forgot why. I haven't had a traumatic brain injury, and yet I do the same stupid shit, believe me. All right, guys, let's get into this video. I'll pause it through.
It is TJ. Welcome to New Zealand Mysteries. If you're new around here, I tend to do most of my stories about unsolved murders and missing people in New Zealand, but I do like to do stories from around the world as well, which we're going to do today. We're going to look at the bizarre disappearance of Susana Escobedo. So let's have a look. This happens in Seadrift, Texas. Seadrift is a city in Calhoun County, Texas, United States. The population was only 1,364 at the 2010 census. It is part of the Victoria, Texas Metropolitan Statistical Area. So 1,000 odd people is not very much. Seadrift is located in southwestern Calhoun County. It is on the northeast shore of San Antonio Bay, 60 miles by air, but 80 miles northeast of Corpus Christi and 145 miles southeast of San Antonio. So let's have a quick look at the Google map. We love Google Maps. So here we have Houston up here on the right, San Antonio you can see, and Corpus Christi. And if you look here, this is the tiny town of Seadrift. And we're lucky that Google Maps are so amazing. So this is Seadrift, the town. And we're going to be talking about a road called Loop Road, which is over here. So a little further out into the Wop-Wops, there's not much around. And if you look, it really goes into a loop. Obviously, that's why they call it Loop Road. So there's a whole lot of nothing around. Let's see what happened. So we're having a look here at the Charlie Project. So Susanna has been missing since the 2nd. Oh, hang on, we'll do it the American way. 8th of the 2nd, 2018. Missing from Seadrift, Texas. She is endangered missing female Hispanic, and her date of birth is 5/12/1993. So she would be 27 now, but she was 25 years old at the time. 5'5" and 140 pounds. For her clothing description, a black and white striped maxi dress. For distinguishing characteristics, she's a Hispanic female with brown hair and brown eyes. Her nickname is Susie. Some agencies refer to her as Susanna Escobedo Rodriguez or Susanna Rodriguez. She has a small scar on her upper left arm. And there's a lot of pictures there. She's a very pretty young woman. Let's look at the details of her disappearance. Escobedo was last seen at her mobile home in the 100 block of Loop Road in Cedar, Texas on August the 2nd, 2018. The last time anybody heard from her was at 1 p.m. that day. Her husband reported her missing at 7 p.m. that same day after he arrived home, and listen to this, found their 4-month old baby home alone in the house, drinking from a bottle. So just remember that part. Escobedo also left her cell phone, keys, and other belongings behind and has never been heard from again. Her family stated that she is a loving mother and would not have abandoned her baby and her 7-year-old son. She had worked as a waitress in the La Terraza restaurant, but stopped working after she had her baby. Susanna was also close to her mother, who was visiting Mexico at the time of her disappearance. Authorities do not believe she left of her own accord. They think she came to harm, and her case remains unsolved. Now, the investigating agency and where you call if you have any information is the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office, 361-553-4646. But I'll have all that information in the description box below, so you can look there to get their number. We're going to look at another version of the story. Now, there's very, very little on this case. If you go on the internet, you can barely find any media stories, and most of them have just copy and pasted the same story. So let's have a look at this one. It's from truecasefiles.com. Susanna Escobedo vanished at the age of 25 on August the 2nd, 2018. She was last seen in Seadrift, Texas, where she lived in a mobile home with her husband and 4-month-old daughter. On the day of her disappearance, Susie texted with a few relatives, but all contact from her ceased after 1 p.m. Susie's husband returned home from work shortly after 7 p.m. that evening and found their infant daughter, the 4-month-old, home alone. He also noticed that Susie's cell phone, wallet, and other personal belongings were left behind.
Who takes a mother? Because I'm not believing that this young lady walked out on her children and left a 4-month-old home alone with a bottle. I ain't thinking that a mum's going to do that. So someone done something or took her or something. Who leaves behind a baby that young? Oh, God, it's just hate it. Hate it, hate it, hate it. Come on, mouse, work. Mouse is having a fucking fit. Stupid mouse.
Susan's husband promptly reported her missing. A widespread search for Susie came up empty. However, both authorities and Susie's family members do not believe that she left voluntarily. Her mother states that Susie would never abandon her infant child or her 7-year-old son. It was also noted that Susie's infant daughter was found alone but drinking out of a bottle when Susie's husband returned home that evening. This suggests that Susie vanished shortly before her husband returned home, as it is unlikely that a 4-month-old child would be able to pick up a bottle by herself. So parents, think about that. It's been a long time since my kids were babies.
So do you guys think a 4-month-old would be able to pick up a bottle by itself if the bottle was just left lying beside it? My kids are all adults, so I have no grandbabies yet, if I ever going to get any. So I don't remember babies that young. Kaleidoscope of Crime, welcome. Good to see you. You don't think so, Pam? Anyone else? I don't know. I don't know because I haven't had babies around for that long, but they're pretty bloody helpless still at that age, aren't they?
But I'm pretty sure they're right about that. I don't think a 4-month-old baby would be able to get a bottle and have it holding it by itself. So tell me what you think about that in the comments below. At this time, there are no reports stating whether or not Susie's husband is a person of interest, but his workplace did confirm that he was at work that day until the end of his shift at 7 p.m. Susie does not have a history of mental illness or substance abuse and is not believed that she harmed herself. Her family members believe she met with foul play, and it's the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office investigating her disappearance, of course, with the number there that we'll have in the description box below. So with timelines here, we're not having much of a big timeline. If she went missing, how long before 7 p.m. when her husband came home? If the baby was drinking the bottle, that's not much time. She obviously was or disappeared close to 7 p.m. But let's go to another couple of things that I've found. So this is reddit.com, and there is a write-up here. So this was posted a year ago by Dear Perception. On August 2nd, 2018, Susie Escobedo was at the family's mobile home near Seadrift, Texas, doing laundry and caring for her 4-month-old baby. Her 7-year-old son was at school and her husband was at work. Are we talking about 7 p.m. and the kid was at school? I'm not sure. Susie texted with a few relatives that morning, but no one in the family had contact with her after 1 p.m. When her husband returned home from work at 7 p.m., he discovered Susie was missing and made a police report. Authorities immediately suspected that Susie did not leave of her own free will, in part because of her 4-month-old was found alone in the home with the bottle, apparently. All the belongings that Susie would take with her were also left in the home, including her cell phone, purse, and keys. Law enforcement seized the mobile home and gathered fingerprints. The results of any testing of items in the home or fingerprints have not been made public. Now, this was put up in 2019, and they're saying then that the police have not released any information about any of the testing that they've done. Over the last 11 months, professional searches have been conducted by law enforcement, Texas EquiSearch, and the Texas Rangers, but no sign of Susie has been found. The Calhoun County Sheriff's Office has offered a reward of $500 to $1,000 for information on Susie's whereabouts, but there have been no viable leads. The sheriff has said that law enforcement assumes something bad happened to Susie based on their investigation, as they have uncovered no known problems in her personal life or reasons why she has not been seen or heard from. The lack of any known problems or issues in Susie's life is supported by her mum, who spoke with her shortly before she went missing. The mother was leaving to visit family in Mexico and said their phone call was completely normal and that Susie told her mother that she would see her when she returned from the trip. So it says that all communication stopped by 1 p.m. So I'm presuming her mother made the call around 1 p.m. and talked to her. And then we're assuming that she went missing shortly before 7 p.m. because of the baby having the bottle. Here, her mother's saying that she talked to her, just before she went missing, but just a few hours. Susie texted her husband a selfie while he was at work shortly before she disappeared, making a kissy face to him. Neither the text nor the picture indicated any trouble or anything out of character. It doesn't say a time, and I wish I knew that time. There is very little information about this case in the media or about the status of the investigation, which seems to have gone cold. In an interview in Spanish, Susie's mother says that authorities have told her that they have evidence that Susie didn't leave on her own, but won't tell her what the evidence is yet until they confirm and have sufficient proof. And this is the police always hold things back, and they say it's to protect the integrity of the investigation. But whatever case you listen to from particularly the US, the family are always saying the cops aren't telling us anything. The cops aren't telling us anything. So that's quite common. The article with the interview of Susie's mother states that when Susie's husband arrived home at 7 p.m., the baby was drinking a bottle. If true, that suggests Susie disappeared shortly before he arrived home, as a 4-month-old cannot prepare or pick up a bottle on its own. So I want to know what you think in the comments below. Of course, the baby couldn't make that, but or prepare the bottle itself, but could it have had the bottle and been able to pick it up? I can't remember from when my kids were that young. More information on where Susie lived. Her mobile home is outside of the small town of Seadrift in an isolated area. It's on a street called Loop Road, which, as its name suggests, is a loop, not a street. Someone would randomly drive down unless they lived there. Wouldn't randomly drive down until they lived there. Very rural area, sparsely populated. Initial social media posts suggested Susie was doing laundry at a laundry facility at the mobile home park. Could she have left the baby to make the short walk to pick up a load of laundry and been abducted? Okay, that's the first time we hear of her being in an actual mobile home park. So this person says, I do not think Susie walked away or committed suicide. No known substance abuse, no known relationship problems, no diagnosed mental health conditions or struggles with depression, no known enemies. She was a stay-at-home mum taking care of a 4-month-old baby. Maybe this person is questioning postpartum depression, but she left the baby, keys, purse, all at home. Just seems strange, especially considering law enforcement has been firm in their opinion that foul play occurred. So this poster continues, I have not seen or heard of anything to suggest the husband is responsible for her disappearance, but significant others are always first to mind. Of course, it's always the significant others, the husbands, the boyfriends, the partners that police look at. Surely law enforcement has confirmed that the husband was actually at work until close to 7 p.m. Now there's an update on here, and I'm not sure about the date of this update. This last week, the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office has been investigating or searching at the Liberty Arms boat and RV storage outside Seadrift, close to Susie's home, leading many to speculate that they have a lead and are looking for Susie's remains. Media is reporting that concrete slabs have been removed from a storage unit at the property, as well as a load of dirt from the unit. However, law enforcement has not released any details about the connection, if any, to Susie's case. So quite a lot of information there, and it's bad when I can find more on Reddit than the media, although we know Reddit's very good. But yeah, the police not saying much, again, leaving the family just guessing, and it's all just bizarre, very bizarre. So we're at victoriaadvocate.com and we're looking at an article, Family Still Searches for Answers 1 year after Seadrift Woman Disappeared. This was published August 2019 and updated September of 2020. Friday marked 365 days since Susie disappeared from her home in Seadrift. Jose Vallejo Garcia, Escobedo's uncle, said he is tired of waiting for justice. It has been a whole year, he said, and I can't believe we still don't have any answers. The then 25-year-old mum disappeared August 2nd, 2018 from her home on 166 Loop Road in Seadrift. Authorities suspected she did not leave of her own free will, in part because her baby was found alone in the home, said Johnny Kraus, Chief Deputy of the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office, a day after a missing persons report was filed for Escobedo. We don't hear much of the 7-year-old, and I'm wondering if the 7-year-old didn't live with them. I mean, on one hand, they're saying he was at school, but I'm sure at 7 p.m. he would have been home from school. I don't know what schools are like in the US, but that seems a bit late for a 7-year-old to me. So maybe the 7-year-old didn't live there. I don't know. People aren't saying much about it. The Texas EquiSearch mounted search and recovery team nonprofit sent about 40 volunteers to search for the mother of 2 that month, and her family posted more than 1,000 flyers all over the crossroads, but no new leads came out of the efforts. Sheriff Bobby Vickery said Friday there are still no details that can be released without compromising the investigation. And then you think, okay, they hold back information, that's fine. But if a case goes unsolved for years, or a couple of years, don't they think that they should release something?
I did it again. As I was saying, quite passionately while I was muted again, we hear this all the time. Those of us who watch true crime hear it all the time. People, the family, say that the cops aren't giving them enough information. Stop laughing at me, everyone. Yeah, so families are always saying the cops aren't giving us any information, and the cops are saying we need to hold it for the integrity of the case. But when a case is cold for years, don't they think that the police should be giving some information that may help find out what happened? They must be able to give some info. All right, I'm going to turn my mic off again. Fuck me.
Something that the public can help with or grab onto. I don't know. So Vallejo Garcia, the uncle, said no new information about the investigation has been released to the family. He said, I've put so much effort into this and my head is hurting because I still have so many questions. In June, multiple law enforcement agencies crowded Liberty Arms boat and RV storage in Port O'Connor along with a truck from Texas State University, which is known for its Forensic Anthropology Center. The agencies oversaw the removal of cut concrete for 2.5 days at the storage facility, which was constructed between June and December of 2018, according to their Facebook page. Questions from the advocate about whether the storage facility search was related to the Escobedo investigation were not met with definite answers. So Vallejo Escobedo's cousin said she also asked investigators if the search was related, but never got a clear response. So this poor family just doesn't know anything. And so imagine what their minds are doing, racing. At the time, Krause told the advocate he hoped the public would be patient with the investigation process. Escobedo's uncle said he continues to provide any information he believes is relevant to the investigators, hoping his efforts can help solve the case. He says, I know it is hard for the investigators and officers, and we are thankful for everything they do, but they aren't saying nothing. I don't trust them anymore because I helped a lot with the investigation and they don't tell us anything. And I think that's what happens when the police hold everything close to the chest. They don't let any information fly at all. And then, it makes it harder for the family to trust them, and family get angry and, rightfully so when their loved one's missing. Vallejo Garcia said he is working with a private criminal defense lawyer to reach out to state officials in upcoming weeks for help. He and his family are also trying to make the Facebook page about the search for her more active. The page, called Find Susie Escobedo, had more than 2,100 members as of Saturday night, and we'll have a quick look at that soon. He said, it's the only network for my niece's case, he said, and we don't want people to forget her. While Vallejo never thought a year would pass without answers or her cousin home safe, she said she and her family still have not lost faith. We certainly still have that, the hope, she said. So really, really sad from the family. They're still hoping, but there's absolutely no answers. The police aren't revealing anything at all. We're going to take, lastly, a look at the Facebook page that they mentioned. So this is the Facebook group here. It's called Find Susie Escobedo. And at the moment, it has 2,500 members. And what I wanted to actually show you is a couple of posts that I've seen on here. This was yesterday. An anonymous release left today at Bayside Express in Seadrift, Texas, directly blamed controversial local official Leonardo Bermea of being the real responsible for the disappearance of Susie Escobedo. Just like Calhoun County officials, Leonardo Bermea, who from the beginning took actions of a judge that don't belong to him by handing over the custody of Susie's children. It's time for the public to know the truth about lies and manipulation of corrupt authorities by investigation. So that's worrying. First, that people are saying that there's corruption going on. Another post, call the Rangers or the FBI. From the beginning, there was no reason this case wasn't solved unless someone didn't want it solved. A tiny town, no drifter strolled in and killed Susie. Yeah. It seems odd, doesn't it? There's a lot of posts on here suggesting corruption and slamming the police for what they are or not doing.
We'll leave that one there. Malad Mayhem, welcome, sir. You're late. How naughty of you. Anyhow, so this case is odd. It's an odd case. They lived in like a way back out in the Wop-Wops kind of trailer park where you didn't go down that road to get out. The only reason you went down that road was to go there. So if we talk about a stranger going there, it seems a bit odd. But if it was someone she knew, then it wasn't that odd, obviously. But the fact that they obviously knew when she was alone, they knew what time, I reckon, her husband came back from work. So perhaps they were watching her for a wee while. But yeah, this is another tragic case. There's just so many of them, you know, to try and cover. So sadly, that never going to be able to. But what I do, I did look up to see if there'd been any updates in this case, but there's been no updates. So unfortunately, the pretty lady is still missing, which is really, really sad. You know, so many go missing from the USA every year. I haven't got that figure on me, but I know it's in the hundreds of thousands. And, you know, if there were more creators on here that instead of being stuck on one case all the time and like regurgitating the info like for months sometimes, if some of them would just take some new cases, some cold cases, and just did this every now and again, you know, get those cases into the limelight, get it where people can see them. Running Bear, hey y'all, good to see you. Autumn, can you pull up the info about the Germany shooting since it just happened? Yeah, I'm about to do that right now. I've got it, so just let me have a look. Okay, so I found this, bbc.com. Several killed in shooting in Germany, church in Hamburg. I don't know what they're like at striking, so I might just do a little bit of this. So several people have been killed in a shooting in a church in Hamburg, Germany. According to the Hamburg police, the shooting took place on I'm not saying that street. On a street in the Großborstel district. Local media identified the location as a Jehovah's Witness center. They said a gunman was believed to be dead. It is not clear if the attacker was one of the 6 reported fatalities. We have no indications of a perpetrator on the run, police said. Investigators had indications that a perpetrator may have been in the building hiding, just in the building, and maybe even among the dead. An alert was sent out on the Federal Warning App at around 9 p.m, telling locals that one or more unknown perpetrators were shot at people in church. Residents nearby were told not to leave their homes amid the ongoing police operation. Footage showed police escorting people out of the centre, some to ambulances. Earlier, police said there is no reliable information on the motive for the crime. Probably just a freaking hate crime because it's everywhere and it's horrible. There is no reliable information on the motive for the crime, and they appeal to the public not to share any assumptions or to spread rumours, which we know happens. You're rewinding, Phoebe? Awesome. Yeah, it is. Have Sky News on. They aren't saying anything yet. Yeah, I don't know. We're not allowed guns here in New Zealand, so I don't know about Germany. It is sad. It is sad. A place of worship. You don't usually hear about attacks involving Jehovah's Witnesses. No, often it's, but what are those people called? I've forgotten. How rude. Yeah. Muslim churches. You often find that they get targeted an awful lot. We had a mass shooting here a couple of years ago at a mosque, and over 50 people died. So awful. Prayers to all those people who have lost loved ones in this attack. It's awful. Just, you get all the alerts. Did a Jehovah's Witness do this? Who knows? They're about to cover it now. Okay, so what's that? Sky, is it? Let me have a look. Hang on a minute.
Grab that.
Oh, fudge off. I hope I don't get a copyright strike for that. I need the money, even if it's only 20 cents I make off the adverts.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I won't play that too much because I don't want to get a copy strike. But this one said shots were fired in a Jehovah's Witness centre. Police were alerted to the shooting around 9:15 p.m. They said there is no immediate indication that the gunman was on the run, adding it is likely that the perpetrator or perpetrators were either in the building or among the dead. 7 people were killed, at least 8 others injured. Hurry back, running there. Hamburg said the police for the attack is currently unclear. The force added that a large operation was underway in the next door district in the northern part of the city. The area is a few kilometres north of the downtown area of Hamburg, which is Germany's second biggest city. A number of armed officers are pictured at the scene. So, yeah, I'd say they have quite a full response. Yeah. Wait for more info because it's just come out. Well, keep reminding me to look it up, Kaleidoscope, when I do come on, because I don't mind looking up stuff. And also, if you have cases, guys, from where you live, if you want me to cover, please let me know as well. Don't worry, Pam. You know, we're all about it here. Don't you worry, hon. Exactly. Glad you did, Pam. Kingdom Hall. Dev, hello, my darling. Good to see you. You're running a little late, but that's okay because you can replay it all. We have been covering a couple of cases from the USA, and we just heard now that there's been a shooting in Germany killing a lot of people in a church. Yeah. You're still waiting for more info about the poor baby girl who was assaulted in a city near mine. It's awful. Okay, guys, do you want another video? I know it's been an hour and a half since I've had you stuck with me. But like I said, I need to start doing these live streams and making them longer because I really need to make a bit of hobby money from them to stay afloat. So I've got to do it. Dev just got home, wanted to say hi for Germany careers. Yeah, well, hi, I'm glad you just got home and you finished work because no one likes to be at work. So sure, Pam says, yeah, you want another one? Anyone else want to go through another one? Or have I held on to you too long now? I'm stuck soaking your foot, Phoebe. Or you just stay there, my love. We'll play another one. All right, this is actually a really sad case. And I think that John Lawton may have covered it a bit after I did. So, yeah, Autumn says, I'm still putting up my new shelf, so I'm up for whatever. Sounds good to me. All right, let's take a look. Yeah, this one's particularly awful. And this is not a long one.
Yeah. I cover cases from New Zealand mainly, true crime, unsolved mysteries, unsolved murders, I should say, and missing persons. But I really wanted to branch out and do some international stories. So today we're going to the US and looking at the double disappearance of Diamond Bynum and King Walker. For those who are not in the US like me, Indiana is here, and we've got Michigan here, Illinois, Kentucky, and Ohio. If we pop over to Wikipedia, Gary is a city in Lake County, Indiana, United States, 25 miles or 40 k's from downtown Chicago, Illinois. Gary is adjacent to the Indiana Dunes National Park and borders southern Lake Michigan. The population of Gary was 80,294 at the 2010 census, making it the 9th largest city in the state of Indiana. However, that was 10 years ago, so I'm sure there's been a change. The city suffers from unemployment, decaying infrastructure, and low literacy and educational attainment levels. It is estimated that nearly 1/3 of all houses in the city are unoccupied or abandoned. So we're going to start here at the Charlie Project, and her full name of Diamond Daisy Bobby Monet Bynum, and you just see some photos of this awesome smile. Missing since the 25th of the 7th, 2015 from Gary, Indiana, classified as endangered missing. She is a Black female. Her date of birth is the 18th of February 94. She would be 26 now. She was 21 when she went missing. 4'8", so rather short, 210 to 238 pounds. She was wearing a white top and blue jeans. Now, this is very important. Bynum has Prader-Willi syndrome, a genetic condition with symptoms including mental disability, short stature, and a
I just
constant
realized
feeling
you
of
were
hunger.
watching me.
Bynum has the mental capacity of a 5 to 7-year-old, and it's difficult for her to communicate with others. Her family understands her, however, and she knows her father's phone number. She needs medication, which she doesn't have with her. When she doesn't take it, she develops behavior problems and may become a danger to herself. She is an African American female, black hair, brown eyes. Bynum has a bowed leg and walks with a pronounced limp as a result, and she will often walk with one arm bent. She had gold highlights in her hair at the time of her disappearance, and her teeth are very misaligned. So right off the bat, we have a very, very vulnerable young lady. Obviously, though, she was a very happy young lady because she's always smiling, but it's very, very concerning. And the investigating agency is the Gary Police Department at 219-881-1260. And I'm going to put all that information in the description box below. If her being missing wasn't scary enough, she went missing with 2-year-old King Walker. So missing from Gary, Indiana, 2015, the 25th of July. Black male, he would be 7 now. His date of birth is 11th of May 2013, but he was only 2 years old when he went missing. So they're saying 3 foot and 34 pounds, wearing a blue t-shirt and red shorts. He's an African American male, black hair, brown eyes. King's hair was styled in dreadlocks at the time of his disappearance. And this photo down here is actually an age progression photo done by the Missing and Exploited Children. And that shows what King may look like now at age 7. So right off the bat, we have 2 very, very vulnerable people missing, young'uns missing. He's vulnerable because of its age. He's only 2. And Diamond is vulnerable because of her condition. And that is scaring me a lot. Let's go on. Next, I'm going to truecasefiles.com. Now, I didn't know about this site, but it's got a lot of cases on it. It's very interesting, and the writer does a good job of putting things together. Diamond Bynum, 21, and her nephew King Walker, 2, have been missing since July the 25th, 2015. Prior to their disappearance, Diamond had recently moved from Hammond to Gary, Indiana. She lived with her father, Eugene, and stepmother, Suzanne, while King was the son of Diamond's sister, also lived in Gary with his mother, Ariana Walker. On the morning Diamond and King vanished, King was dropped off at Diamond's father's house, Eugene, so he could spend the day with his grandparents and his aunt. A few hours after King's arrival, Suzanne and King took a nap. When Suzanne awoke from her nap around 11 a.m., both King and Diamond were gone. And that just sounds heartbreaking. It was initially believed that Diamond had taken King for a walk. Diamond enjoyed taking walks and did so often when her family lived in Hammond. However, Diamond was still fairly new to Gary at this point, so that's worrying. So she was not as familiar with the area. This immediately concerned family members, as Diamond has a genetic disorder called Prader-Willi syndrome, which causes her cognitive development to be delayed, according to the Prader-Willi Syndrome Association. The disorder is, quote, typically characterized by low muscle tone, short stature, incomplete sexual development, cognitive disabilities, behavioral problems, and the hallmark characteristics, which are chronic feelings of insatiable hunger and a slowed metabolism that can lead to excessive eating and life-threatening obesity. Sounds absolutely horrible. Diamond's family members stated that Diamond reportedly has the mental capacity of a 7-year-old, and some reports say 5-year-old, sometimes 7-year-old, but then we look on Charlie Project and it says 5 to 7, so that's what we're going with. After briefly searching for Diamond and King, Suzanne called authorities to report them missing. A large-scale search began with numerous volunteers, but nothing of importance was found. Additionally, investigators received tips stating that Diamond and King were seen together at a local gas station. Those leads were pursued, but investigators unfortunately came up empty. Then, local sex offenders were investigated, and it was announced that police wanted to question a person of interest, but nothing ever came of it. Since then, tips have reportedly been far and few between. Diamond and King remain missing today. Their family members are desperately hoping for closure in this case. If you have any information that could lead to Diamond and or King's whereabouts, contact Gary Police Department, and obviously I'll have that in the description box below. I seen, this is reddit.com, and there was something on there about the case. The Bynum family never thought they would be in the same position a year after 2 of their loved ones disappeared without any answers Family members believe Diamond took her nephew on a walk in the new neighbourhood and became lost, remembering that she hadn't long moved to Gary, Indiana. After that, what happened to them is something that is troubling to think about, Eugene says, because of Diamond's disability, and that's her father. Eugene says, I don't believe they are in Gary anymore. We've searched thousands of abandoned homes and buildings. It takes 10 minutes to get out of Gary, and we're close to the border. They aren't here. In the weeks after the pair went missing, hundreds of volunteers came in full force to offer whatever aid they could. Dozens of searches were conducted across the town. Flyers littered shop windows and stoplight poles. Nothing significant was reported. Authorities say they have exhausted all leads and no new ones have surfaced. Unfortunately, there have been no new tips, leads, or developments in the last 6 months. And that was from Corporal Douglas Drummond of the Gary Police Department. Eugene and the rest of the family believe that there has not been enough done by authorities to bring the two home. Eugene Bynum Jr. and his daughter Diamond and the Bynum family say they want the FBI to take over the case. Eugene says if they had taken this seriously from our first call, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now because Diamond and King would be home and safe. If the FBI can't take over, we would like to know exactly why they don't fit the criteria. That's interesting because it's very, well, I mean, they could have gone over state lines so easily. So doesn't that mean the FBI can get involved? I'm not sure. While clues are scarce, hope is still evident. Eugene has avoided social media the past few months after someone reportedly hacked his Facebook account and posted a fake confession stating that he was responsible for the disappearance. He is not. And that's really, really sad. If that's true, if someone really hacked his Facebook and put that on, that's horrible for him. Horrible. We're going to abc7chicago.com. Family of missing Gary Boy Hunt, the aunt, hopes new age progression photo solves the 5-year mystery. So, of course, this was the age progression photo from the National Centre for Missing and Exploited Children, and this is what he would look like now, Mr. King Walker. There's a renewed push to find King Walker and Diamond Bynum. The 2-year-old boy and his 21-year-old aunt disappeared 5 years ago this weekend. Their family hopes an age progression photo will help solve the mystery. LaShawn Walker, a family member, said, "It is crazy. I don't understand how they could go missing for 5 years and no one knows anything." LaShawn is King's grandmother and Bynum's mother. She says, "I wouldn't wish it on my enemy. I wouldn't wish it on anyone." The National Centre for Missing and Exploited Children provided a photo of how King might look now as a 7-year-old boy. Joshua Williams is King's father. He said Gary police have been silent about the state of the investigation. 5 years, nothing. They won't even call my phone and say we are still looking. We got a new investigator on it, Williams said. And it's hard when people think that the police aren't doing the best they can. That's very, very tough on the family. LaShawn says, "You've got to take it day by day, and sometimes I don't think I'm going to make it through the day. It's hard, it's rough. We can't go on like this each day trying to live our lives and not knowing anything." They're hoping that someone will contact police with vital information and they will be able to reunite with the pair. The family believes they're still alive. I would say, come forward. This is somebody's child. You would want someone to do this if it was your loved one, Williams said. The family is going to continue to fight for answers.
This is going to be the I'm going to call it the live stream where TJ could not get her mic sorted. Okay, so this is a real distressing case. We've got a young lady whose mental capacity is only of a 7-year-old. and a 2-year-old. So these are real vulnerable people. And I've looked, there's no updates or nothing like that. Autumn Falls, oh my gosh, my brand new shelf is broken. I've got to go call the store before it closes. Talk to you guys later. Oh, honey, I hope you get it sorted. Yeah, FBI can get involved because it's a child. You're absolutely right there. What the crap? Take care, Autumn. Sorry, Autumn. So for all of the cases that we're covering, the information you need to call if you have any information, go back to the original video that I've done, you'll find, and all the information is going to be underneath those. But that one was really sad, that one for sure. I think I've got one more from the good US of A, which I'll have a look at if I can remember where it is. I've done so many videos. Oh yeah, here it is. And hey, Shauna, good to see you. I haven't seen you for a while. So this is a real sad case, and trigger warning, it's not a nice one. It's got a little bit of violence in it. So yeah, bear with us. Shauna, it's great to see you. In fact, guys, I just can't say how awesome you guys are for showing up. I've got to make a living out of this YouTube somehow, and yeah, having you guys just makes me feel supported. Marlet says, I feel like they could easily be alive and displaced. I feel that too. I feel like they might actually be alive, and someone's just got them. But I mean, there's just no indication of anything at all, is there? Of course, because of her mental age and her propensity with this food thing, if someone just offered her food, I think she'd go willingly, to be honest, which is really sad. It's really, really sad. All right, let's play this last one here. It's only 20 minutes again, but trigger warning. I'll stop it halfway or something and we'll have a chat. And I need to get another coffee.
Oaks Avenue more than 9 months ago.
That was Police Chief as he's speaking to Oak Park, US, in regards to who killed their husband and wife, Leslie Ann Jones and Thomas Johnson from Oak Park, Illinois, which is the story that we are going to cover today. Let's just cross a couple of things off before we get to the story. I absolutely mean no disrespect or offence to anyone with my videos. It's just information that I'm putting on the internet and putting it all together into one video. My aim is it keeps the story alive and in the public arena so that it can be shared to people in the area, and hopefully someone will see it. They might know some information. We can get it solved and help.
Sorry about the joke.
Some justice. Viewer discretion is advised for this one. If you're able to, subscribe to the channel would be great. Give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Hit the notification bell. This is a really simple way of helping the channel out. Really awesome. I want to give a shout out to Shah, who went to buymeacoffee.com/NZ Mysteries and shouted me a coffee. That's amazing. I love the donations. Thank you so much. I've got to be honest that even when I reach 1,000 subscribers, I'm not going to be monetized. So donations like that are really important to me, and I thank you so much for them. All the information for everything we talk about is going to be in the description boxes where you can donate, the sources that we use, so you can go and do some more investigating for yourself. All the things you need to know about the channel and other ways you can go and see us and support us. But let's get into our story here. So let's start with the ChicagoTribune.com. Medical examiner rules death of Oak Park attorney's homicides, reports couple was stabbed to death. Okay, so let's go and have a look at information about Oak Park. Here at Wikipedia, Oak Park is a village in Cook County, Illinois, adjacent to Chicago. It is the 29th most populous municipality in Illinois, with a population of 51,878 as of the 2010 US Census estimate. In 1968, Oak Park passed the Open Housing Ordinance, which helped devise.
I had to stop and I got the mute. Pam, $3 super sticker. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. That's awesome. Thank you, Pam.
Strategies to integrate the village rather than resegregate. Today, Oak Park remains ethnically diverse and is known for its socially liberal politics, with 80% or higher voter turnout in every presidential election since 2000. And I think that's pretty impressive. Again, quickly with Wikipedia, I just wanted to look at the crime stats for Chicago. So crime in Chicago has been tracked by the Chicago Police Department's Bureau of Records since the beginning of the 20th century. The city's overall crime rate, especially the violent crime rate, is higher than the US average. Chicago was responsible for nearly half of 2016's increase in homicides in the US, though the nation's crime rates remain near historic lows. The reason for the higher numbers in Chicago remain unclear. So, very alarming statistics for that. Let's have a look at the map. So, if you see that pretty
That's
red
awesome,
dot,
Pam.
that
Anything helps.
is
It really
where
does. Thank you.
Chicago, Illinois is. And if my silly computer lets me, we're going to go in and have a closer look. So you can pretty much see that Oak Park is right in the city, very close. Back with ChicagoTribune.com, 2 prominent attorneys who were found dead inside their Oak Park home on Monday evening were stabbed to death, according to the Cook County Medical Examiner's Office. We're looking at this date, April 15th, 2020. On Wednesday evening, the medical examiner ruled both Leslie Ann Jones, 67, and her husband, Thomas E. Johnson, 69, were killed as a result of multiple sharp force injuries, and both deaths were ruled homicides. The news came as neighbours were preparing to hold a memorial observance in front of the home Jones and Johnson shared in the 500 block of Fair Oaks Avenue. Police were initially called to the home Monday night to conduct a welfare check, and officers located their bodies inside. Leslie and Thomas were pronounced dead at 7:47 p.m. by Oak Park Police. Oak Park Police Chief LaDon Reynolds said a preliminary investigation showed the deaths occurred under, quote, suspicious circumstances, unquote, later saying the deaths were not self-inflicted. Police called on the West Suburban Major Crimes Task Force for assistance with the investigation. The task force offers expertise and resources of police departments across the region. On Wednesday morning, the FBI confirmed through a statement it is also assisting with the case. The FBI is aware of the situation in Oak Park and is assisting at the request of local law enforcement, the statement read. There is no further information at this time. And as you can see, if you're on YouTube, there's some beautiful pictures of a memorial there. So Thomas Johnson was particularly well known for his work as a hearing officer for the Chicago Police Board and also represented late Chicago Mayor Harold Washington for a time. Among his clients were coal miners seeking black lung benefits and children from Chicago Austin's neighborhood who sued the state for tighter regulation of gun sales, saying they had suffered trauma from witnessing shootings. Jones, Leslie, also an accomplished attorney, was known for her charitable efforts. She was involved with the Arts Council in Oak Park and was a longtime board member of Hephzibah Children's Association. Look, everything I've read about these two, These are salt of the earth, hard-working Americans that have good morals, good values, and they are really charitable and just do a lot of work. And yeah, see that everywhere I go. So both were graduates of Harvard Law School and were partners in the downtown law firm of Johnson, Jones, Snelling, Gilbert and Davis. Jones, Leslie, specialised in healthcare, civil rights and real estate law, while Thomas worked on issues of social justice and corporate accountability, litigating cases all the way to the US Supreme Court. Attorney Jeffrey Gilbert joined the two at the firm in 1994, but knew Johnson since 1973. He came to know Leslie in the 1980s, I should say, when the couple married. Gilbert said they were wonderful people. He was the sort of person where if you needed somebody, he'd be there. Leslie was quieter, but she was a person who was incredibly artistic and well-read. She'd read 3 novels a week. They were just as decent and wonderful of people you'd want to meet. They'll always be remembered as wonderful attorneys, but the depth of their kindness and generosity is the thing that marks them as human beings. And I couldn't have said that better. Now we're heading over to oakpark.us, and police chief asks for patience, understanding as double homicide investigation continues. Like I said, I'm going to have the sources in the description box below, so if you want to go and watch the rest of this video, then you can do so. So February 2nd, 2021, this one came out, with neighbours and reporters frequently asking for updates on the investigation of the murders of Leslie Jones and her husband Thomas Johnson in their home on Fair Oaks Avenue in April of last year. Oak Park Police Chief LaDon Reynolds released a video statement today assuring the community that the police department remains fully committed to solving the crime. He said, "I can personally assure you that the investigation of this shocking and brutal crime is not stalled or slowed in any way. The investigation remains a top priority and has the continued active support and resources of the West Suburban Major Crimes Task Force, the Illinois State Police, the FBI, and the Cook County's State Attorney's Office." Citing the sheer volume of forensic evidence gathered from a crime scene, which was a 3-story, nearly 4,000 square foot, 113-year-old house that sits upon 10,000 square feet of land, Reynolds said evidence still being processed by the Illinois State Police Crime Lab. He said to call the gathering and processing of forensic evidence related to such a crime meticulous would be an understatement, Reynolds said, adding that what happened was a tragedy that the community will not soon forget. Apprehending the person or persons who committed this brutal crime remains the #1 priority of the Oak Park Police Department. Anyone with information about the incident is urged to contact the Oak Park Police Department at 708-386-3800. Information may also be provided anonymously by calling 708-434-1636 or online at oakpark.us/crime tip. Now, I'm going to have these details in the description box below if you know some information and need to call those numbers. And let's be honest, somebody knows something. So if that's you, there's, a number you can call anonymously. Please do so. So we're here at, again, the ChicagoTribune.com. New details emerged in killings of prominent Oak Park attorney couple found stabbed in their home. So let's take a look at what this one has to say. Months after a husband and wife were found dead inside their Oak Park home, new details have become known about the slayings. Both spouses were prominent Chicago area attorneys. Autopsy reports recently released by the Cook County Medical Examiner's Office shed light on how the bodies were discovered and the extent of the stabbings. And the killings obviously have not yet been solved. According to a police report included in the file, family members of Thomas Johnson, aged 69, and Leslie Jones, 67, wanted to check on them after not hearing from the couple for about 4 days. On April the 13th, family members who did not live in the area asked Jones and Johnson's 20-year-old godson, who does live in the area, to visit their home in the 500 block of Fair Oaks Avenue for a well-being check. The godson found the front door closed but unlocked, and he went inside about 7:30. Just inside the front door, he discovered Leslie's body lying on the stairs, while Thomas's was found in an upstairs bedroom lying on a bed, the report said. The godson called Oak Park police and paramedics rushed to the home. A doctor from Loyola University Medical Center pronounced the couple dead at 7:47 p.m. And we cannot underestimate how this is going to affect that godson for the rest of his life, having to relive those memories over and over again. That's going to affect them for a very, very long time. It's very sad. An Oak Park police detective wrote that night in the documents that he had limited information regarding Jones and Johnson because forensic technicians were still processing the scene and speaking with family members when the report was filed. The detective did report the home did not appear to be ransacked and said Johnson's wallet was found on the bedroom floor with its contents scattered. First responders also located the couple's dog alive in the home, and paw prints from the dog and footprints from a person were visible in the residence, the report said. The report states that Thomas Johnson was stabbed multiple times in the head, neck, and shoulder area, while Leslie Jones was stabbed multiple times in the head, chest, shoulder, and arms. The medical examiner ruled the cause of death for both as multiple sharp force injuries, ruling both deaths as homicides. I just want to apologise for the video quality. I am working on this tiny little notebook, and it's only 4 gig. It doesn't run any of the software I need it to make anything more appealing. I'm sorry, but we just work with what we've got. As we know, the couple were both graduates of Harvard Law School and were partners in a law firm in downtown. Johnson was particularly well known, Thomas, for his work as a hearing officer, and he oversaw hearings for 4 officers last year accused of covering up the investigation in the 2014 Laquan McDonald shooting. He presided over the hearing of an officer who shot and killed 55-year-old Betty Jones and 19-year-old Quintonio Legria during a confrontation with Legria in 2016. Now, I have not seen anything that alludes to these killings being anything to do with their work. Could it be a possibility? It possibly could be a possibility, but there definitely has been nothing that I've heard about that. But I guess at this time it's unsolved. You've got to keep up all your options open, don't you? So let's hope something comes along. So Thomas Johnson also used to watch over young people from single-parent homes who were part of wrestling and baseball programs in the Chicago area. Leslie Jones was also known for her charitable efforts, particularly with the Oak Park Area Arts Council and Hephzibah Children's Association. So just again reinforcing that these two were good people, very good people who just done so much for their community.
I'm glad you guys cannot hear the F-bombs I am dropping every time I forget to turn my mic on. Whew. Stressful over here. These two people sound like the salt of the earth, the all-American, caring for their community, caring for their communities, helping out where they can, and all they've got so much family, and they just sound so lovely. Just so friggin' sad.
They did not deserve to go like this. We have another article to take a look at. So just going on to lawandcrime.com, Medical Examiner's Office releases new details on mysterious slayings of 2 prominent attorneys. And there's not much new information, but it sort of just brings everything together. Who killed a Chicago area husband and wife attorney couple and why? Now, this was released September 2020, so we're not looking that far back, guys. It has been 5 months since Thomas Johnson, 69, and Leslie Ann Jones, 67, were found slain at their home in Oak Park, Illinois. The answers about who was responsible for the slayings and what their motive might have been is still publicly unclear. But the Cook County Medical Examiner's Office released new info on how the victims were discovered and the manner in which they died. So again, the bodies were discovered April 13th after the family members who don't live nearby asked the couple's 20-year-old godson to check in on them. He found the front door to their home shut but unlocked. He stepped inside. Leslie was discovered on the stairs and Thomas was upstairs. This poor guy, the godson, called the cops to no avail. A doctor pronounced Jones and Johnson dead at 7:47 p.m. Jones was stabbed in the head, chest, shoulder, and arms, according to the ME's office. Johnson sustained stab wounds to the head, neck, and the area of the shoulder. Again, a detective at the time noted the residence did not seem to be ransacked. Johnson's wallet was on the floor of the bedroom. The things inside were described as having been scattered. Does this seem like a robbery? It doesn't appear so. They're not saying if anything was missing from the wallet. They're just saying that they found them scattered. Cops were initially mum on a lot of the details. Oak Park Police Chief LaDon Reynolds asked locals in the surrounding blocks to provide security video they might have recorded up to a week before the incident. While it may be difficult for some to understand why more information can't be released at this time, ensuring the integrity and thoroughness of the investigation must be the number one priority, he said at the time. Keeping the details confidential is an important part of the investigative process, and we understand that. We definitely know that the police need to keep things to their chest sometimes. So it's just saying here, Johnson worked social justice and corporate accountability cases, and also again it says oversaw hearings for the police board of the city of Chicago. Most notably, he handled hearings of 4 officers who allegedly covered up the 2014 shooting of teenager Laquan McDonald. Tom was an outstanding hearing officer and a wonderful man, said Police Board President Gian Foreman at the time of the incident. All of us on the board admired and respected Tom's deep knowledge of the law and commitment to fairness. His work was of the highest caliber. Most importantly, he was in our eyes and by all accounts a thoughtful, kind and caring man. We all miss him greatly and offer our prayers and condolences to Tom and Leslie's son and family.
Okay, guys, another horrible story. I mean, the vanishing ones, when people go missing, I just find it, I think I like missing persons mysteries because I just can't figure how people can just go poof and just seemingly vanish off the face of the earth. Yeah, Pam, you're funny as hell. I'm funny as hell, I should say, as well. So it's all G. Love a joke. And I didn't realise you got my F-bombs. I thought I'd had them all. Yeah, Mullet, you did. No, Running Bear it was. Mullet, you, Running Bear, you did good. I'd still be in the checkout line, yeah, for sure. He lives in a small town. So, guys, I'm going to probably head off for today, but what I want to say is please share, like, subscribe, share out to people that you know that might be interested in learning about these cases. Like I said, I've got to make you get a go of YouTube, and I'm going to be coming on as much as I can. So, yeah. Do you have actual cashiers? Yeah, you make me laugh, Pam. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Dave, Pam, Mullet, Running Bear. Thank you, Phoebe. I know you were around. Shauna, Slow Motion. You guys rock, and I wouldn't be able to do this without you. So you mean the absolute world to me. And I will see you all next time. Thanks for the super chat, Pam. That really, really touches my soul. Okay, love you guys. Yeah, please rewind. Pain is bad, going to bed. Oh, Phoebe, sending my love. I lighten your day, you lighten my day all the time, honey. Awesome. Yeah, shout out to Autumn and her broken shelf. Sorry, Autumn. We miss you. Love you. Yeah, catch the rewind. Okay. See some of you tomorrow. I will. Kia ora. Kia ora, Phoebe. I love it how you've learned that. That's awesome. Okay, we'll see you probably tomorrow. Love you guys.